Hey, welcome! You know that feeling when you're stuck doing a digital task that's so tedious, so repetitive, you just wish you could hand it off to a robot? Well, today, we're going to do exactly that. We're going to build your very first web automation bot from the ground up.
I mean, we've all been there, right? Staring at a screen, mindlessly moving data from one window to another, and you're just thinking, there has to be a better way. And you know what? There absolutely is, and we're about to build it together. Okay, so every great adventure, every quest starts with a problem, right? A digital dragon that needs slaying. And our story begins with a classic one, the manual data problem. So, picture this. You've got this massive list of automotive part numbers, and your job is to go to some e-commerce website, type in each number one by one, find any alternative parts, and then copy all their names, their manufacturers, and their prices into a spreadsheet. I mean, doing this for 10 parts is already super annoying, but for 1,000, it's an absolute nightmare. This is the exact challenge our bot is designed to crush.
All right, so to take on a challenge like that, you can't just go in empty-handed. You need the right tools for the job. You got to think of it like gearing up for an epic adventure.
So, what's in our toolkit? First up, our spellbook is Python. That's the language we'll use to write all our bot's instructions. Then, to actually interact with the web, we've got Selenium. Think of it as the bot's hands and eyes, doing all the clicking and typing. But to understand what it's seeing, we need BeautifulSoup, our expert translator. And finally, to organize all the data we find, we'll use pandas to create that perfect final spreadsheet, the whole shebang. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it shows the teamwork between our two most important tools. See, Selenium is the doer. It's the muscle. It physically drives the web browser, clicking buttons, typing in text, just like a person would. But honestly, it doesn't really understand what's on the page. And that's where BeautifulSoup, our brain, comes in. We hand the page's code over to BeautifulSoup, and it knows exactly how to read the structure and pull out the specific pieces of information we want. They're a seriously powerful team.
Okay, toolkit's packed. Now for the fun part, actually teaching our bot what to do. This is where we write the step-by-step instructions that are going to turn our lines of code into a super capable digital assistant.
We're going to start with the absolute basics, just mimicking exactly what a person would do. First, we tell the bot, hey, open up the browser. Then go to this website. Next, find that search box for me. Then we have it type our part number right into that box, and finally, click the search button. See? Each step is a direct command, just translating our human actions into code.
Okay, success. Our bot has successfully searched for a part. The results page is loaded up. But, just looking at it isn't enough. Now comes the crucial bit. We need to teach it how to read the page and pull out the data we actually care about.
And this is where our amazing translator, BeautifulSoup, really gets to shine. We basically give it the source code of the results page, then we give it super precise instructions, like find the HTML elements that contain the alternative part names, and find the ones with the prices, and so on. The bot then grabs that text and just saves it all in a temporary list. It's kind of like a digital treasure hunt, and we've just given our bot the map. So, we've automated one search. That's cool, that's great, but the real magic, the real power, comes from scaling this whole thing up. So how do we make the bot do this not just once, but 1,000 times, without any more help from us? This right here is what turns our little script from a one-trick pony into a real, robust workhorse. First, we use something called a loop. We just give it our list of 1,000 part numbers and say, hey, run this entire search and scrape process for every single item on this list. Then we add some error handling, right? What if a part number doesn't exist? We tell the bot, don't crash, just make a note and move on to the next one. And finally, we tell it to wait for pages to fully load before it tries to click anything. This makes it patient and way more reliable.
So, after all that work, getting our tools, writing the code, teaching the bot, what's the big payoff? What is the treasure at the end of this whole quest?
And here it is. This is it. This just perfectly shows the power of what we built. Instead of some manually, painstakingly created spreadsheet that's probably full of typos, we get this. A perfectly formatted, clean, and accurate Excel file, generated completely automatically. Think about it. What would have taken a person a full day? Maybe more. Our bot just cranked out in a few minutes. That's a game changer.
All right, so before you run off and start your own automation adventure, here are a few pro tips to keep in your back pocket. You can run the bot in headless mode, so it works invisibly in the background, super fast. Adding tiny delays can help it act a bit more human and avoid detection. And this one's important. Always, always respect a website's rules. Check for a file called robots.txt. And finally, Keep your tools sharp by making sure your browser driver is always up to date.
So there you have it. We took this super tedious manual parts search and turned it into a completely hands-off process. But the real lesson here, it's not about car parts, right? It's a mindset. So I'll leave you with this question. What's the copy-pasting, the manual data entry, the repetitive digital chore in your life that's just waiting for its own automated solution?